Okay, the presentation, as you can see on screen there, hopefully everybody, is Big Job, Little Time, and it's going to be delivered by Kate Miskelly and Howard Hughes of C Research. Now this study here is about a diet light drink brand, which was on the verge of an identity crisis. Easy for me to say. It was struggling to stand out amongst the other brands in the portfolio, and it wasn't resonating as it once did with younger UK consumers. So Howard and Kate will tell us about the research they did to inform a new distinctive brand positioning for the struggling brand based upon the product truth. So they designed and deployed a 5-pronged methodology. I'll let them tell you the story for themselves. But a quick reminder before we move on and before I hand over, please follow the custom, put questions into the box at the bottom of the page, and we'll come back to them at the end of the presentation. So I'm now going to stop talking and hand over to Kate and Howard, who I hope are ready to go. Kate, Howard?
Tom, thank you.
Excellent. Over to you.
Howard, are you there?
So thank you. Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm here. Can you all hear me okay? I hope you can.
Yes, loud and
so
clear.
Thank you very much. Good, excellent. Thank you very much for having us today and allowing us to present what we hope you'll find was a really interesting and exciting project for us. Just to tell you very briefly a little bit about C Research, because obviously this is about agencies, the best agencies you've never heard of before. We are, as it says there, an intelligent agile agency, and we're focused on delivering commercial outcomes for our clients. So what that means we do in practice, and hopefully this project will demonstrate, is that we use innovative and value for money methodologies for every proposal that arrives with us, and we aim to be where clear thinking and sharp insight meet, so that our clients can achieve more with the results. And just to tell you very quickly about Kate and I. So I'm the founding director. I've worked in as a core researcher since 2003, and then I've been lucky enough to work across a wide range of different categories, brands and products, and had the absolute privilege and benefit of working and visiting over 25 different international markets, as well as obviously the UK itself. And I founded C Research in 2011, and I lead its growth and development and thinking. And I'm also very proud to be working alongside Kate, who will introduce herself.
Yeah, I'm Kate. Hello, everybody. I've been working for over 10 years in qualitative research. I do that at home in the UK, but also abroad. I've designed and executed research to inform all sorts of strategy in lots of different areas. More recently, I've been building life experience over child rearing and art degrees. So, but you know, in this industry, everything can be applied at some point. So it's all learning. We're going to start off. Howard's going to give us an outline of the research challenge.
So actually, to build on what Tom had said, we had actually carried out this work for this brand, or for its sister brand, within Western Europe, within France, Germany, and Spain, and we were therefore very honoured to be asked to carry out the work again to understand the product truth for this brand within the UK, the UK being its biggest market within Europe. And what they really wanted to do was identify what they call their product truth, to really know what's distinctive, motivating, and unique about the taste of this drink product, and specifically for younger consumers, because they know that those younger consumers are the ones who will develop their relationship with the brand and take it through into their lives. And they wanted to understand that so that it could be leveraged in communications via both language and imagery. And I think that's the really important part to say, and you'll see how we've hopefully how we address that within our research approach, to create a distinct space for this product within not only its specific category, but also actually within the product's own brand family. Unfortunately, we can't tell you who the brand was, as you figured, but so suffice to say that it's in a very, very competitive market, both with its sort of sister brands and within the wider category. And within that, as we said, we've had some specific challenges we had to address, because this product truth was around taste, and taste is really difficult to describe because it takes all of the senses. Sorry, it's the one with the least vocabulary to support it. But we needed a sophisticated approach to make sure we arrived at the absolute essence of the product. that they could use for their comms and marketing. And we needed to act quickly. We only had a month to get where we were going. So we needed a methodology that was ambitious and pacey, but didn't cut any corners along the way.
So I'm going to talk you through our methodology. So we were pretty brave and ambitious here, and we designed a 5-pronged approach, and it sort of reads like our to-do list, actually, I reflect. So 1, we need to get beyond the words. So as Howard mentioned, taste is really difficult to talk about. We need to sort of get deeper than the vocabulary allows for. We need to socially engineer discussion groups to make sure they're very efficient. I think any well-moderated discussion group is perhaps an exercise in social engineering, but we did have a very specific approach in this instance, which I'll tell you more about. And the 3rd thing on the list is ask for help, and we are very dedicated to our network and not scared to ask for help. And for that reason, number 4 on the list is also ask for help. And number 5 is install a feedback loop. And this is perhaps the most courageous aspect, because it's just to check that all our efforts haven't been in vain, and where we have arrived at is a destination that will be valuable to our client. So it was brave. It's a methodology that includes strategies to help consumers articulate something that maybe is even totally indescribable about taste. It relies on professional networks, and then it includes that barometer of its own success. And did we mention how we had a really short time frame? So it needed to be super, super fast too. So prong 1, move beyond words. For this project, we were working with a brand that had very widespread appeal. So we spoke to people aged between 16 and 50, so very broad age spectrum, and we recruited a mix of brand loyalists and non-loyalists. And as we always try to do, we spoke to people in London and outside of London as well, and as well as a mix of males and females. So, you know, I mean, nearly anyone could have qualified for one of these groups on reflection. And for a pre-task, we asked our participants to abandon language altogether and create a collage to describe the taste of their favourite soft drink. And a pre-task collage exercise is not a particularly original approach, but it was absolutely bang on what we needed for this, because through pictures we can get somewhere deeper, somewhere more emotional. We can operate outside of language. And it's into this world of shape and colour that really helps people to isolate the taste experience and really drill into that essence of that particular drink. And we asked them to create the collage of their favourite sparkling soft drink. And this is an example of the kind of content that we got. And you can see it's very emotional. There's a particular kind of vibe and theme going on here. And I have to admit that when I was looking at this morning and I saw that picture of the flip-flops on the hot sand, I nearly shed a tear. It's just too much at this point in life. So prong 2 is socially engineered discussion groups. So we held what we call talk and taste sessions, and they utilised a speed dating format to ensure that everyone who tasted a product did so in the company of a different person in that group. So, I mean, speed dating, if anyone isn't familiar, it comes from the world of dating. It means that everyone in a room is sat in pairs, and after a particular moment of chat and connection, everyone gets up and moves around the room in a different direction from their partner. So you get the opportunity to interact with everyone separately. And we've previously used this speed dating model for lots of product review research. It really helps negate order effect, which can be a problem in this kind of research, and also the influence of emergent social hierarchy. So whether you might not have a particularly dominant character in a focus group, but there is always a hierarchy of dominance. And this is a way of sort of keeping that flat so it doesn't interfere with the results. However, for this methodology, we were using speed dating in a new way. We wanted the speed dating technique to create an intimacy and sense of collaboration. And we'd never done that before. And we were quite honest with the clients, but they were happy for us to trust our instincts on that point. So the speed dating accelerated empathetic connection within the group, and it led to a more sincere and comfortable conversation. And that was very useful to us because it meant our participants were engaged and they were committed to their shared goal of finding the words to describe this very specific taste. And a lot of that is just that they were entertained and stimulated by a new company as well. But I think often focus groups in this kind of work best if people almost work as your kind of consultants in the room as opposed to kind of samples. And then we asked for help, and the first place we went for help is to the experts in taste. So we spoke to a food writer called Mina Holland. She's a journalist. She's been working at Feast, the award-winning food supplement for The Guardian. And she also sits on the Soho House Food and Drink Committee, which just sounds like it would be amazing. And we also spoke to a sommelier, Rafael Rodriguez, and he's worked in many of the best restaurants in the world, and more recently at Claridge's as their restaurant director and wine buyer. So the in-depth thought pieces that we commissioned from Mina and Raphael really helped us because we could benefit from their sensitive, honed, professional palates and the expansive taste vocabulary that they'd worked up between them. And that meant we could sort of reflect on what we'd heard in our groups and sort of marry the sort of the vocabularies and the points of view. And then we asked for more help because if you're a small, agile research company like C, you really thrive on your networks to give you more than you can be on your own. And this time we approached Signstyler, who we've worked with before. They're a cultural insights company. They've presented fairly recently with Aura, so you might have encountered them there. And they also were featured in the MRS magazine earlier this year. So many of you might be familiar with Signstyler. And they helped us with semiotic and language analysis of the wider category around the soft drink and also our product specific offering within it. So they gave us the context that we needed to provide recommendations. And that's what we're really aiming for. We want everything we do to be commercially applicable. So making sure that the context is there so that we don't ever provide recommendations that can't be applied usefully. And then number 5, the 5th prong, the feedback loop. And we were pretty confident we had our answers. It was a fast and furious project, but we arrived somewhere that felt pretty steady. But were our findings really nationally representative? And so we designed a quantitative study to make sure we hadn't misfired. And I suppose there's a bit of a spoiler alert that I'm talking to you today, because if we had, perhaps I wouldn't have drawn up this presentation. And it was these definitive results from our research that gave our client an extra confidence that the findings could really contribute to their positioning and communication strategy usefully. So that was the methodology, and I'm handing back to Howard to tell us about the results.
Thank you, Kate. So the refined positioning that we helped to generate with the client that resulted from the research, or the different prongs that we used to bring the story and the insights to life, helped them along the journey to reach their ambitious 6% new sales revenue targets. I mean, as is always the way with certainly with qualitative, well, with research in general, you know, we sort of leave at a point and then see the results going forward, and certainly, you know, they're what's being reported in the media is that their sales are very much going in the right direction, and I'd like to hope, based on based on the work that we've done. Kate.
Oh, sorry, I was too interested.
Oh, there you go. That's all right. And, you know, discovering the key product truth and articulating the specific taste experience, I think also enabled our clients to really address, as you saw, the audience we spoke to was quite broad. And one of the things that they were conscious of is that they didn't want to lose their existing drinkers, but they also wanted to recruit new drinkers and bring them along that journey. And it certainly showed, you know, through being able to look at such a broad audience and being able to understand the category in terms of its competitors through semiotics and also understanding the way the drink could be further brought to life using expert tasters, our sommelier, our food writer. You know, they saw that there was so much meaningful and motivating ways that they could talk to to drinkers about this brand, about the product, about the way that it could be used, about the way that the taste is so versatile and can be brought to life in so many different and interesting ways. But it wasn't just about, I think, what the client learned. We also, you know, what did we learn as a research, as an insight agency, as a team, through the work that we did. You know, what hopefully we believe we've shown you is that the intertwining methodologies for speed and depth is possible and important and exciting. You know, the project demonstrates how a multi-stage methodology can be enacted in a very short time. With those different strands all working well and feeding into and off one another, we really be able to sort of pull all those different elements together to be able to bring this project to our client at speed. And part of that, what was so important, was this sense of being agile, of being connected, you know, being energetic and well connected with partners and resources, meant that we could identify and harness the best experts to evaluate the findings. So, you know, really harnessing our network and the abilities of you know, we may be small, but we can certainly deliver much bigger ideas and methodologies. And finally, though, of course, you know, you might say, we'll say this as qual researchers, but, you know, qualitative research is powerful, and it remains powerful, and I think it will always be powerful, because there's so many opportunities for us to be innovative in terms of the strategies we use and how we do things and how we involve both our clients and participants to help us arrive at accurate and useful descriptions of things that most people don't even know how to talk about, and all using, you know, those trusting and using the tools that we have. And we help participants expand their taste awareness and vocabulary using both visual exercises and using those kind of socially accelerated discussion groups. They were fun for the participants to take part in. They enjoyed it. It was unusual for them, but, you know, they left feeling like they were energized and excited, and we left with so much rich learning and insights. And I think that's it from us. I hope that you enjoyed that, and we'll take any questions that you want to give.
Goodness me, this is a rare thing. It's the presentation that finishes early rather than.
Oh, don't say that.
No, it's not a problem. Thank you very much. I mean, really good presentation, and I fully understand the need for anonymity. For anonymity, it's easy for me to say, and the need to respect that. Absolutely, I think you did a great job of revealing as much as you could without giving any.
There's definitely a degree of mystery there, isn't there?
There is a degree of mystery. And interestingly, the first question that's popped into the Q&A box is to say, without revealing who the drink is, it sounds like it's quite a distinctive, indescribable taste. So did the client embrace that in its comms? And there's an example here of Marmite, and embracing its polarity or uniqueness, or did it try to find a way to articulate the taste better?
I would say that what they have done is used its taste to drive occasionality and how and when the drink might be enjoyed and what with. So using it to kind of fuel moments, if that makes sense, and sort of ways and in which you might enjoy this product, how it might go with a meal, or how it might go potentially with the role it might play within particular occasions.
Okay, so very much linking it to occasions.
Yeah, because I would say that actually the challenge of this drink is that its taste is distinctive, but its taste is also very versatile, and so actually it's more about how can they leverage the versatility of the drink and its taste into different occasions.
It's probably a brand that we're all familiar with, and I'm sure everybody in the line is trying to think, I wonder what it's going to be. So,
I couldn't possibly say.
And you should. But a little bit of mystery, intrigue, and sensuality is not a bad thing.
All I can say is it is a brand you would have heard of.
Oh, right. So it goes to the plot thickens.
And I can see that question that Alex then has put in the Q&A. On that point around the packaging, so did packaging come into the equation at all? Part of the challenge is the packaging is probably a sacred. Is it sacred cow that you're allowed? That was the element that is hugely important, but cannot be changed.
Oh, Ooh,
So that is why the taste is the part that is most important to leverage.
Now, it's really interesting that you partnered with Signstyler. How did your client feel about this aspect of partnering?
I genuinely, I think that they Signstyler is fantastic, and so they helped us immeasurably in terms of adding amazing additional depth of insight into what what we delivered, and I've always thought, and I've worked with we've worked with Alex and his team for years, and the beauty of semiotics is how, as qual researchers, it just adds an interesting element to what participants can't express. Yet suddenly you look at the semiotics, you think that makes total sense why people are saying what they're saying, through the kind of cultural heritage and the codes of communication. So they were absolutely fine. I think that for them, it just adds to their belief that they can hopefully choose an agent like us that we're able to leverage the partnerships and the networks that we have to go beyond what in terms of what we can deliver.
We heard of examples of partnering in the April seminar as well, so it's a very positive thing, I'm sure, and seems to be well received.
Absolutely, and to be honest with you, I think from our perspective, what's so lovely about partnering with them is we work well together, but also at the end of the day, they are a semiotics agency, so they don't need to have a qual research division, and we are a sort of an insights consultancy, qualitative and quantitative research. We won't necessarily have the need for a permanent semiotics member of our team, and would never seek to say that we're semiotics experts, but to be able to tap in and build into the briefs that we receive, the opportunity to be able to add that is so rich and fantastic for us.
So what it does say is that you're very open to partnering with any organisation that brings along a skill which you're not specialist in or specialist at, and you find that model works very well for you.
Absolutely.
Perfect. A bit of a close question here for me, but the collage that Kate put up, that very sort of happy, blissful collage that was displayed on screen, made me think more of an alcoholic drink than a non-alcoholic drink. It is a non-alcoholic drink we're talking about, yeah?
It is a non-alcoholic drink.
And further question for me is, social engineering. Can you just expand a little bit on that? Can you re-emphasize what you meant by social engineering for the qual research? Hello?
Oh, Kate, are you there? Oh, hello. Can everyone?
Kate.
Oh, hang on. Sorry, I lost you for a bit. Can you hear me now?
Yes, absolutely.
Could you repeat? Did you ask me a question, Tom?
About the social engineering.
To revisit social engineering, which you highlighted as part of your process.
Yes, that's right. I mean, I made the comment that I think that any good moderating is a form of social engineering, because you are sort of manipulating a group of people to behave in a way that you need them to get answers to your questions. But the speed dating sort of prompts people to interact individually with another individual as they might not naturally within a sort of standard focus group setup. So I suppose by social engineering, we just mean sort of managing a group of people and maintaining a level of control to make sure that the output is appropriate and useful.
Okay.
And I can add, sorry, Tom, that Ruth has asked a question. I hope it's okay to answer, where it says,
absolutely, when
else might you use the speed dating technique? And actually, I can tell you where it was born out of. Was actually a really interesting project where it was a milkshake brand we were working with. This was years ago. Identified from customer feedback that there was a challenge on the actual manufacturing of the lip of the bottle, and that people were reporting that it was affecting the drinking experience and giving them a cut, potentially even cutting their lip. And actually, that's where Kate and I developed this process in the first place, because we wanted to create a process where people would be able to talk about and compare. So we didn't want to give any hint whatsoever that there was potentially a problem with this brand's bottle. So we created a taste the speed dating to be able to get people to taste lots of different products within a group. So we had, I think, 12 people in each group, and they went to different stations, and they had competitor products on purpose. We weren't actually interested in the competitor products, but what we didn't want was in any way, shape or form for people to know that we were focusing on a specific product and see if there was any kind of issue with that specific product. So we got them to taste lots in sort of pairs, going around different stations, talking to each other and tasting different products, but actually thinking about the drinking experience from the bottle itself to see if spontaneously any of them mention that they found the experience of drinking from this product different to the other ones. So that's actually where it came up in the first place, and we found that worked really, really well.
I think it really helps overcome the sort of a lethargy that can sometimes raise its head in focus groups where you're asking people to test multiple things, because it's just difficult for people to keep their kind of energy and enthusiasm up for the duration if they're repeating a task several times. So to get them to do it in the company of a new person adds a certain sort of social excitement to every new interaction, and that really helps keep the group alive.
And so for this group, for this project, they were tasting different types of soft drinks. So again, so that we got the comparative language they used for a kind of a range of different drinks, so that would help us also place where the particular drink that the research was for performed within its kind of competitors and sort of sister brands, if you like. So again, it could be something that could be quite repetitive, but that moving between stations, working with somebody else, kept it fun and kept it interesting and engaging for them.
You used the expression in the body of the presentation that the speed dating gives rise to greater intimacy. How does that manifest itself?
I think it's, I mean, that's what in this instance the speed dating was really useful for, very valuable, because it just meant when in a focus group where you get we typically use sort of 6 to 8 people, there's always an awkwardness at the beginning when people aren't comfortable with each other initially, and you have to work quite hard as a moderator to overcome that, to reach the point where they're very comfortable sharing thoughts and ideas honestly with each other. And the speed dating, by introducing everyone individually, it's an accelerator, and I think we used that word acceleration in the presentation a few times. You're just getting to that point of intimacy much faster because you're giving individuals a chance to connect with each other one-to-one throughout the group situation. So by the end of the group, there's a great atmosphere of collaboration and openness, and it just works to our advantage.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. Sounds really good. Sounds like a really, really useful approach. Okay, I think we're now going to close this session. So thank you to you, Kate and Howard of C Research.
Pleasure.
For your presentation. Thank you also to Lauren of Trinity McQueen and to Victoria of Sigma Capital.